Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk about some of Adobe Illustrator tools other than basic ones, because we already mentioned and applied these tools into some of our work so far. But today I would like to talk to you about some of the maybe we can call it as advanced ones, because I believe it will be helpful for you at your poster design, for your poster design assignment. So far, I think let's have a wrap up in here. So far, we were able to apply some of selection tool, direct selection tool, pen tool, or text tool, lines, forms and shapes, and eyedropper, magnifier, artboards, how we should open it, and we already go through the grids and layout, how we should arrange our space so far. But today I would like to show you some of very useful tool, which we call as Pathfinder and shape modes. Let me show you how you can use it effectively by trying to imitate exactly these shapes. To make it more visible, I'll go and make it with some colored squares. Let me prepare a workspace for us, and let me change the color of this shape. Yeah, we have two different squares over here. Yeah, you already noticed that I just give a quick start to our course. The shape modes in here, time to time we might need some complicated shapes other than the basic ones, other than some triangles or squares or circles. So in that cases, Adobe Illustrator has some really handy tools that allows us to create the shapes we would like to have. For instance, one of them is Pathfinder in this case. And if you don't have in your by default interface, you can go through. First of all, you can arrange your workspace by selecting some of the already prepared options like Essentials. I'll always go with the Essentials Classics, but I have my own workspace that filled with the one of my favorite tools. You can arrange yours from here in time, but when you clicked to Essentials Classic, it's already came itself. But other than that, you can go to again Window and go here and select Pathfinder. It will appear over here somewhere. So after you find your menu, now we are good to go. I select both of my shapes by dragging my mouse, and let's have a try for the unite option. As we might understand from the name, it unites these two forms. Yeah, and now we have just one form shaped like this. But can you imagine that if you wanted to go to and do that kind of a shape? Let me have it back. Let's assume that I want something like that. It will be very time consuming to have something like that with pen, and also I can't be sure that it will be enough properly drawn, or all the distances are equally far away from each other. So in this kind of cases, you can use unite. And let's do all the I will copy this and paste, and would like to show you the differences between. Let me open 4 different cases for each menu item, and one more. Yeah, let's give it a try. One of them was unite, the other one was will be minus font, which means that again we can understand from the name, Adobe Illustrator automatically delete the shape in the front. Yeah, let's give it a try. And now we have this kind of shape over here. And the cases, we can use this this shape. I now draw two different circles. One of them is ellipse, even not circle. I can select both, go over here, and really quickly have a properly drawn moon if I might need any occasion. Yeah, this was the minus front. And the third item is intersect, which means that it's only let the intersection part stay and delete the rest of it. Let's give it a try. Yeah, I will do it again one more time to make you see clearly. Remember this part? Yeah, as you might notice, it's just left the front side's intersection, not the red one. It just picks that part from the blue one. So you should consider while you are working with this option that the rest of the front form will stay after you apply this tool. Yeah, this is what we have from the beginning. We have the same shapes, but now we don't. And this is the opposite of intersection. It just deletes the intersection part of it and leave the rest. Let's give it a try. Pardon me, before trying that, I would like to copy it one more time to keep going for the Pathfinders. Okay, this will be the exclude. It will delete the rest of the intersection, and as you may notice, it will turn the red part also blue one. It's just go with the frontier shape, form, and specialities of the frontier form. And also you can go to object, ungroup it, and then play with the elements of the shape. And you can even maybe do a, let me make it evener in this point. Yeah, and also you can use this shape to, for instance, create a pattern from it. One more time. You know, you can have this shape and just fill a page with it, and it will be nice to work, I guess. Yeah, pardon me. Just like this. It can be a nice pattern for a poster or something. You can just go and play with that, you know. Let me do some more. Yeah, it can be something like this, maybe a little bit more closer. But yeah, anyway, I'll delete this whole stuff and turn it back. Yeah, this is the shape we will get from our beginning form. Okay, let's move on with the starting point. I'll create some other, we might need 6 different ones for that, but let me make it a little bit smaller to be able to fit in the design. And okay, now we have 6 different shapes to work with. I'm sorry, as you might notice, I pressed shift to keep the proportions equal. Yeah, let's go and give a try to divide option. You did not maybe notice any differences. I pressed the divide, and now the conclusion I get, I go to object, make it at ungroup it, and now I have 3 different separate shapes that I could get from the starting shape. It will be really handy in right cases. And yeah, let's give a try with the trim. Yeah, I did it again, but this time, let me check. It just trimmed the front part from the rest of the object and give us an L from it. If you wanted to preserve the front object at the same time while you are separating it, it will be much more handy than the delete front option. I can't memorize it, but yeah, minus font, not delete font. Okay, and let's go with the merge one. Merge means it's in the name. I think it will merge it. Yeah, it gives the same trim effect, but merge it in one shape. But we can do it by the hand. I mean, you can select the whole object, go to object option and group it, and do it as it is. Okay, the other thing is crop, but this time let me do it again. This time it's cropped the rest of the parts other than the intersection point, but keep the back shape intersection part. Controversially to this option. So if you wanted to keep the back part, you should go with the crop. Otherwise, you should select the intersection. Yeah, let's give it a try again. We had this after applying the tool. And the other case is outlines. It just gives us outlines with the colored shape, as you might notice. Let me separate it first. These two objects. Yeah, it just gives us the L's, almost these outlines of these shapes, as you might notice, and the intersection part, and the other L almost here. It gives the outlines of these three shapes in this case. If you wanted to, go easy and do not want to draw anything, even I can, let me give a feel to it. Yeah, the difference between these two will be definitely obvious in these cases. And let me give a try to fill this also. Yeah. Okay, it will be definitely the shape different than this. So let me give a try to this one to fill it. What we'll get over here. Yeah, because it's split it up to two different objects in here. And also if you give it a fill, yeah, it's definitely came out different, totally different than this shape, obviously. And yeah, let's move on with the last Pathfinder option, and it will be the minus back. As you might notice, we have the minus front over here. It's just the opposite of this shape. Then you can go easily and find your tool which might feel well. Okay, now let's see how these tools can be useful for us. I already showed you the moon option. Let me draw one more. Let's change at least one of the color of it to see much more properly. I select these two. I would like to delete the minus front, not the back. If I want, I can use this one, but this time, in this case, I would like to delete the first one, the frontier layer. So I can do a moon with it, or I can go and open a tool circle. Let's make it green, considering that I would like to show you how to create a leaf by using these. Let's go with the intersection option, and I can do some leaves with it. Maybe I can do some narrower ones for sure. And also let's give a try to create let's change the color one more time. Let's assume that, pardon me, I would like to create at this point I wanted to switch to stroke to be able to see what's going on, how the intersection points came out. By the way, while it happened, I would like to explain you what's going on. If you click one more time on a shape, it will allows you to work on it, just on it, by separating it from the rest of the design and the elements, but at this point I don't want to do that. So I press go back and see the whole layer 1 and able to reach it. But if I click, I can't be able to reach them anymore. I just be able to play with it. In some of the cases you wanted to do that without touching any elements. You just wanted to play just one element. While we are having this, I would like to mention you, I'll go back to a normal layer, and I wanted to create let's have one more circle too. And as you might see, started to see, there will be a shield shape over here, and I can go and select the intersect of it. Then I get the, let's switch the color from stroke to fill. I can have these kinda not very basic shapes really shortly. And once again I can the same thing going on, but I just wanted to show you really quickly. You can do a almost square shape with like using four different circles. I'm not doing something really specific over here. I just wanted to put some circles in an organized way. I can select it. I don't know. If I select intersection, I'll keep with these curvy diamonds. If I can go divide whole elements over here, maybe I can have a complicated. Let's do that. Divide it, almost all the shapes, and go to object and ungroup it like I mentioned you before. Let's get rid of this one and this one and this one, the outer circles. When I delete it, I can have some that kind of little bit of complicated shape over here, and also I can play with the rest of the elements in it, or I can change these parts too. So as you can see, it makes my life much more easier, even though it doesn't seem like very nice with, for the color selection reason. But yeah, you can do these kind of stuff. Let me give you some other example. Let's switch to stroke back then, because I wanted to see what's going on with my shape. And I would like to make it a little bit smaller. Let's copy it and paste it. Let's see, what can I do else? Yeah, maybe I can do something like much more complicated shape, something like this. You'll see what am I trying to create over here. I'll do it a little bit higher. Yeah, while you are working on it, try to follow the catch the lines and what kind of spaces or forms you created in between them. So when I select it and again once more divide all the pieces, and after I get pardon me, first of all we have to ungroup it, and then let's go and select the unnecessary stuff and delete them like this. Now you can see I have a shape over here like the logo of the Batman, right? Well, I think I might have a little bit of problem to replace this circle in the middle of it, so you should be careful about while you are doing this stuff. And one more thing that I would like to mention, and also it will be a nice representation how you can use typography, typefaces with shapes and forms. Let's have one more circle again. And maybe you remember that I think I gave you in some of your assignments that when you create a typography, something, let's write something by the way, something like what was your assignment? Design poster, let's say with a doodle on it. doodle on a photo. Yeah, when you wanted to make a typeface or write a text work well with a shape, there are several options. But maybe you remember that if you want me to be able to see your font, what did you choose for your design, you should have to click right and create outlines. Then they'll become shapes, not font anymore. It's not reusable. I can't click on it and change the statements what's written over here. So I would like to press Ctrl Z at this point because I wanted to keep it as a text. For sure, I can do, as you might notice, I can do something like I can create outlines, turn this text into a shape, and then I can select both. I now selected the design, the form, the circle shape over here, and I can go, for instance, minus front, which means that now I am able to create a shape with a text on it. But I don't want to do that because let's assume that I wanted to keep my text changeable. So I'll go back to get rid of the outline option, and also maybe I would like to make it a little bit bigger than this. Let's say yeah, maybe I'm happy with that. Okay, maybe it's better to keep this way. And when you select both the text and the shape, and at the same time, if you go and without creating outlines, go to and select the minus font, it's not gonna work because you didn't tell the Adobe Illustrator yet that you wanted to create a design with a shape, circled shape, blue shaped one, and the text should work on it while it preserves its circled form. So while we wanted to do that, we select the command and an option for Mac, and then I press it. Then it allows me to create a shape with a text in it. And also now I am able to create and write and change it in this case. And maybe I can do something like that. So it's an endless option when it comes to play with the Illustrator tools. And yeah, let's go and see some maybe typography tools next. Okay, let's have a look at some type tool functions. As you may know that we can write things. Let's check out the type tool. We can do this. It's a regular way to use type tool. As you may notice, there are several stuff that you can apply or type in different shapes and paths. Let me show you one of an example. For instance, let's assume that I would like to work with let's make it a star tool. It will be a little bit tougher than I think to replace the type, but let's make it just with a stroke. And let's assume that I would like to use area type tool. I can select it and then go into the path of the shape and then click it. Then it allows me to replace my text into a shape which I select for. I can do the shape by my own for sure. Let's make it smaller. Then maybe in smaller text it makes more sense, right? By the way, while I see this, just if you don't want to use make it a enter, or split the text or the word, it's if you don't want that the Illustrator do this, you can select all and go to paragraph, and select the don't hyphenate option, or just move the tick from the hyphenate option. Then you can get rid of the sliced words. And this is one other thing that we can use while we are working with shapes and texts. Let's put it somewhere over here. Also, you can select the piece of work that you done, and if you become sure that you would like to use this, you can go to object and make a pattern from it. Let's have a look at that. It's added to my swatches panel at the same time, and also I'll be able to play with it. I can do it like a brick placement. I can do it like a grid, as you might see over here. I can make it a brick as a column, or hexes, or it's now placed like the edges of a hex. Let's assume that we are going with the grid. I can change the width of it. Let's play with it too. And I can size it and ask Illustrator to fit it to art or something like that, but I just don't want it to do that at this point, so I'll go with the shape. But I want you to see that at least when you go to object, you can create patterns from your any kind of shape or text or whatever you might want. And let's go with the type path tool. Let me give you a path. Let's assume that I would like to draw a wave and want my text to move around or over the line. And reason why, I'll go to the type on a path tool. I select it, and then I can see my text is floating over the line. Or you can change your style a little bit, or use some different tools together, like we talked just 5 or 10 minutes ago. For instance, I can do a circle. Okay, let's start from having a shape, something like circle, and put the rectangle in between them, because I'm planning to create 2 different half circles. So I can select them all, go to Pathfinder tool, expand it, and divide all of the parts of it. I can go and get rid of after ungrouping it, I can maybe get rid of this. I can leave this maybe. Let me check it. I can just get rid of this one maybe. Actually, I am planning to. I'm on my way to create a path from this half circle and maybe this one, and I would like to write some stuff on this line, so I just wanted to switch it to stroke. And the same thing going on for this too. Now I have a path over here, and I would like to go to my let's say the name type on a path tool to be able to create text. And now it seems like it's a little bit smaller than I thought. And let me see. It seems nice for me with these shapes, but I can't see some words. Maybe I can move it a little bit further to Or yeah, I can apply the same for here, and maybe also I can move them a little bit far away from each other. It's another way to create shapes with the type tool. Now I would like to have a new artboard to be able to show you some additional features with the some functions of the Adobe Illustrator. And yeah, let's move on. Let's assume that I don't want to work with some solid shapes that Adobe Illustrator serves me. So let's go with some different different shape. Then I wanted to go something like with the cloud, or yeah, let's see, can we do something organic. Also, if you're not happy with the edges, it's not smooth enough for you, you can go and play with some of the edgy curves and make it more smoother. After you are sure that you're happy with your conclusion, the outcome you get, you can just leave it for a little bit of rest and write your own word. Distort objects, or pardon me, let's make it capital. Distort texts with this. Distort things with this, let's say. Things. Yeah, this is, maybe I can a little bit make it bigger, but like this. Yeah, I'm happy with this, and I'm just adjusting. It's not a necessary step to do that. I would like to put this text into this shape of mine. But the thing is, when you want to do that, you should be sure that this form, organic form, should be on top of the text at the priority of the layers. I mean, like, for instance, here is our shape, here is our text. This should be on top of the text while we are lining these layers up, stacking them. And both I selected and go to object and yeah, envelope distort and make it with the top object. Yeah, I think I like this. Let's play with it a little bit. Let's change the direction. I think because I write too much things, it's not very readable. Maybe I should go with the just distort this. Then it's much more readable stuff. Also, as you might notice, let me write distort stuff. Let's keep it short this time. As you might notice that you can go object and the same option and make it with verb, which also Illustrator allows you to use some of the fundamental functions of it. You can go with the arc, you can do it like this and play with some of the, let's do it vertical and like upward. When you are working with on a logo, these options are really coming handy and useful. Something like this. Let's play with vertical. And also you can I don't know, let's make it a fish, something like you can bend it. Let's keep it this way, distort it. Yeah, no, I don't want much distortion, I guess. Yeah, okay, let's make it 0. Okay, I think I'm happy with this distort stuff. And let me see, what can we do our text more than this. Yeah, we can do something like, for instance, I can go to ellipse tool, make a circle with that, and let's see, color can be gradient. I did this some other for other project, but maybe we can get rid of this, just keep the some more smooth gradient feeling. Yeah, let's keep it like this. Maybe, or maybe we can add some more over here, but let's see, let's make it some darker shade, or I don't know, or maybe I can go with a more orangey tone. Yeah, okay, let's assume that we keep it this way. I come over here, click the circle with the selection tool, copy it, and with command copy, pressing command copy, and with crossing command V, I am able to get a copy of it. But pardon me, I would like to resize it first, like something like this. Yeah. Okay, I'll copy it, paste it, and I put it over here somewhere because I would like to make a shape and spine and fill this whole area with the same circle to make it work as like a line. So I go to object and select the blend. I would like to see my blend options first. You can select is as a smooth color gradient between these two objects. You can put some specified steps, which means that every step represented by this object, and you can use a distance. I'll go with the step. In this case, I can write it, for instance, I need, let's assume that 300 more circles in between these two, and also I can change the orientation of it. Now I'm happy with the same equal aligned version of, and this also use the path, but I don't have any path in this case. Okay, and after I select my options, I'll do the make. Yeah, now you can see there are 200 different circles replaced by equally in between these two. And after then, I would like to come here and would like to do something like, for instance, let's assume that my brand's name is Distort or something like that. Yeah, let's put a D here. And actually, this function works much more bold and a little bit fatty typefaces. Much more successfully. Reason why I would like to change my shape to this, and also I would like to make it a little bit bigger. Let's go with the 300 or something maybe. Yeah, now I can't see that. I make it. Yeah, it's so okay for me. At this point, it still has type tool functions. So I want to go to on the type and make it create outline from it, and there are some several ways to make it create a path from this type, because it's already something driven. I don't need to create it one more time again. First of all, I would like to get rid of this shape because I need just one more line and proper path to do what I need to do. I go to direct selection tool, select this, and yeah, get rid of all these points on my design, and I can come over here, there are several ways to get rid of the filled part of it. I can add an anchor and delete just this point and just make a single line from it. But there is one other way to do that. I can come over here and right click on it, make a compound path from it. I would like to ask to Illustrator. Now I get my path, and I want to ask release it. which means that it's not gonna be one completed path anymore. I just asked Illustrator to cut one part out of it because I need to replace this spine, this shape, like on a spine. It should be one line, not a circle, not a completed or looped stuff. So I press release compound path, and now let's make it a little bit narrower. Okay, I'll go and select both. I would like to replace this one onto this one by going objects and blend and replace spine on it. Yeah. I'm curious that it didn't work. I just don't get it. Sometimes Illustrator give you some solutions and outcomes that you don't get, but it doesn't even a problem. I'll go with the first solution I show you and delete a part of it. And now I would like to try. If it's not gonna work, I'll try it again. I think I did something wrong. Yeah, it worked now. Now I liked what I see. Okay, as you might see in here, it's now become a nice shiny D letter, and yeah, and let's assume that I would like to go and play with it more. Reason why I go to Effects and Transform and select Roughen, which allows us to make some feathers from it, as you might see, and we can give some details to it. Yeah, it's become like a brush at this point, but I can go and maybe yeah, I like this one a lot. Now I can have myself if I use much more layer instead of 200 circles, maybe I can use 500 or 1000 one. If in that case it can become much more smooth and seems like a fur. I don't know, but it's worth to try, I guess. It affects the length of it. Maybe it doesn't have to be that much longer. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it seems funny now. It seems like it's shaved or something. Yeah, okay, I like this furry D. This is another thing to do that with your texts. And these are some common tics that come to my mind, and you can use it very in a nice way on your for your designs. But there are various and endless options out there in Illustrator, so after a while you should find your own way while you're designing. But basically these are the menus and the items that you can use for your designs. See you in the next course.